Welcome to another fold along in my illustrious basement. We're going to be talking Elon Musker nuts. We're going to be talking about the first Neuralink in a human brain. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Human brain interfaces have been around for decade upon decade upon decade upon decade. We're talking about Defense Department, 1950s, 1960s, starting to pioneer this technology. Okay, first things first. We got to talk about that. Okay. Now, how far along that technology actually got, we don't know, but we do know, according to somebody that would know, Dennis Bushnell, that there by 2018, this is now over 5 years ago. We're in 2024 now, everybody. 2018, we had 200,000 people with some type of brain chip in their head. Okay? Some type of brain chip in their head. Now, there are those people that have utilized these chips to communicate with others. They have to be hooked into other devices. They are sometimes paraplegics or quadriplegics. They're sometimes nonverbal. I get it. That's the Trojan horse that has allowed for this type of research to now go mainline and become commercialized. Because, again, I highlighted this yesterday when I hosted the fourth hour of Alex Jones. If you did not see yesterday's fourth hour of Alex Jones, I would highly recommend that broadcast. You're not going to find it here on YouTube just because I can't really trust putting anything on YouTube that I make the slightest comments about anything anymore. Okay, like that's the deal. I think that most of you know that. Most of you understand that. Zitzin, I told you what's going on my channel. Just so everybody understands, okay? YouTube is the worst platform, okay? There's no money there. There's no free speech there. And my audience has been virtually cut out, okay? Kind of Rumble, okay? I am on 5 days a week for an hour a day, everybody. 5 days a week, an hour a day, over at Rumble at patriot.tv, used to be ampnews.us. Now, that show is very, very much a interview show. It is not a free-for-all with Jason Bermas. It's still Jason Bermas, okay? Tonight, in fact, I think it just aired because it airs at 6 p.m. Eastern, and we're now at 7 p.m. Eastern. I had Dr. Rima LeBeau on. Now, there's no way I can put myself and Dr. Rima LeBeau on YouTube, especially that full hour. Now, maybe I could cut out 5-10 minutes. Maybe that's what I need to start doing and put it on YouTube. I just got re-upped into Podbean. Haven't posted in 6 months. The thing cost me $350 a year. All right? So, look, I can't emphasize enough how much I absolutely loved, and I mean loved, the show over at Red Voice Media. Loved it. Really loved what they were trying to do there. I keep telling you guys, in this game, when I say game, when I talk about media in general, it is so hard to maintain a paycheck, to maintain a network. That's why, I am on Rumble, yes. In fact, yesterday, if you want, you'll see the entire Alex Jones fourth hour, in which I talk about the Internet of Bodies. I talk about Abilify a lot. And that's the thing. At the end of the day, what have they been pushing on general society? Mental health, mental health, mental health, mental health. Every monetized YouTube channel influencer sitting there telling how you need a BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com. Man, I am greasy. Let's see if we can get some of that grease out of here, guys. Let's see if we can degrease my face a bit. Probably not, but that's okay. We do it live. Oh, there's a lot of grease right there. Ooh. So you got all this movement towards not only mental health, but the idea that you should be put on psychotropic medications. Okay? Psychotropic medications are awful. I'm sorry. And if you're watching this and you're on them and you disagree with me, man, I just don't know what to say. I'm not saying that there would not be a time or a place for some of these drugs, but certainly not the time and place of being advertised for profit constantly. They benefit from you being mentally ill. And I highlighted the drug Abilify yesterday because Abilify is an SSRI drug, all right, for people that already are on SSRI drugs, but their meds don't seem to be working. Wow, what a shocker. Let's try another one. Let's try another one. And, you know, we've talked about smart pills before and the fact that they got approved by the FDA all the way back in 2018. Again, that magic number 2018, 200,000 human brain interfaces, 2018, will approve these smart pills, these digital pills. Well, guess what? Guess what has the digital pill technology? The SSRIs, not your heart medication, okay? Not your statin. No, not your dementia meds, not any of that. Not your cholesterol meds. No. It's your mental health meds that are making sure that you have compliance. And not just your mental health meds, your mental health med on top of your other mental health meds. Abilify. Now, Abilify, that's going to be chump change. Chump change if people start putting human brain interfaces in their Nagino. All right? It's a two-way protocol. Can you imagine the types of things they can do with your neurology, your brain biology, everybody, if they have hardwired access to it? Hardwired access to it. Insanity. Total and complete insanity. You know, Jesse Waters actually did a piece on this, and he was one of the few people I've seen out there that can be openly critical of the Muskernuts and say, you know what? How about I don't want to connect to some hive mind. Why don't we start connecting more like human beings? Hey, I like that, Jesse. I like that a lot. I don't necessarily love Jesse Waters. I think that Fox is basically unwatchable at this point. Now they got rid of the Tuckins. The Tuckins was really the last thing on there. Last thing on TV news in general that had any bite or any kind of meat and potatoes to it, period. Now, one of the things that I don't hear a lot of people talking about when it comes to this, first of all, no, there was never enough discussion about all the monkeys that died. All right? Never enough discussion about all the monkeys that died in the clinical trials. That was a big deal. Should have really been emphasized. And that's the thing. You know what? If the mainstream media was really going after the Musk, boy, we got to get Elon. Why wouldn't you go the brain chip angle? Like that's a legitimate concern that a lot of people would rally around and go, you know what? Maybe I don't think I want a brain chip. Huh. It's a good point. Maybe we should pull it back. No. Because they got to spin microchips. Not only for your hands and your arms and your work and your leisure, but for your brain too. Now, the next thing that the mainstream media really didn't seem to pick up on, okay, that I thought to myself, well, you know, this is concerning. With this first person, if that's real, by the way, this first human being that got the Neuralink is now in recovery. Because when you sold it to the public with your little Neuralink presentation with your mall kiosk robot that's going to do brain surgery for you, you basically said it was going to be like a 6-hour procedure that wasn't even going to be taking place in a hospital. It's going to be like, it's going to be some center. And then you go home. Where's the recovery? Oh, you mean brain surgery might have some recovery? Duh. Duh. That's how desperate they are to sell this to you. All right? They're trying to ease this in. And I'm sorry, I'm not convinced that Elon Musk is the second coming of Jesus Christmas, everybody. I'm just not. I really feel like if you want to talk about somebody that they're really propping up, it would be Musk. Now, there's a court ruling out there via Tesla, and I think it's some kind of $55 billion, and I'm not sure exactly what it's going, whether it's really going after Musk or not, but I'm going to put it to you again like this. Plenty of other EVs out there, electrical vehicle companies. Tesla is not an EV company. That is one small part of it. And what it really is a transhumanist agenda acclamation company. Okay, that's what it is, everybody. Okay, that's all it is. So you got the Tesla car. Remember, didn't work in the cold. He had to recall every single one of those cars a month plus ago because of the navigation system. Every one. You don't win in a real capitalist society or situation if you have to recall all your products. But guess what? That's not all his products. All right? I cannot say it enough. But his company, Tesla, partnered with CureVac to print up the boobity boops. They built the micro factories. It's out in the open. And then, again, because these predator class maniacs are hell-bent on a world with automation, all right, and acclimating you to robots, Tesla can spend all the money in the world creating Optimus Prime for real. It's not really Optimus Prime. It is called the Optimus Bot. Its presentation, they constantly overpromise and underdeliver. That's something that James Corbett has really highlighted, by the way, which I think people should check out. That Optimus robot, like when he came out and did like the thing, but was still on, wasn't even able to walk around. It was pathetic. But guess what? You got basically unlimited funding and resources for projects like that because they're trying to eliminate human beings from just about every process they can. That's why you're not allowed to own anything, because they don't want you doing anything either. And anyone with common sense or any kind of honesty in any psychological field will tell you that when human beings don't have a purpose, it's a recipe for disaster. And they don't want you to have a purpose, because if you don't have a purpose, guess what? You're more likely to not feel great about yourself, feel hollow and empty inside. And then start thinking, maybe I am mentally ill. Maybe I am depressed. Maybe I need to sign up for betterhealth.com so I can basically either have some, hack, do digi-medicine with me, right? We're going to do this telemedicine, or you're going to spill your guts out. And whether you're doing this to a human or an AI, it doesn't matter, because you're spilling your guts out to a corporation. That's what you're doing. And then if that doctor feels it's necessary, oh man, we'll get you on this drug and that drug and the other drug. And guess what? You still haven't filled the hole. Maybe that brain chip's going to fill the hole. And even if it doesn't, I'll be able to listen to Taylor Swift's new jam in my head telepathically. Forget about AirPods. I got the Neuralink. No, and a whole lot of no. And here's the thing, guys. I feel like a lot of times, even in the alternative media space, I'm a voice in the wilderness, right? I'm not the most high profile. I don't have the most mega audience. I take what I can get and I do with it what I will and what I can when I get the opportunities, right? That's why 10 out of 10 times when I get a phone call or a text message asking me to host the Alex Jones show, 10 out of 10 times, I say yes. 10 out of 10 times. If I have the opportunity and it's not conflicting with my family schedule to go get a question in with a well-known political entity, I'll go do it, okay? What I won't do is I will not bend the knee to affiliate links and hot takes and all this Johnny nonsense that goes along with this space. I'm going to tell you something where you guys are going to get a kick out of this, okay? And you know, I turned it down almost immediately as soon as I had an idea of what it was. I'm not going to tell you who, but somebody contacted me yesterday and said, "Hey, Bermas, how do you feel about acting?" Now, just so everybody knows, I'm not an actor, okay? I'm a guy who likes to get behind the camera when it comes to film projects or television projects or documentaries or shorts or sketches or skits or whatever. That's where I'm comfortable. However, you know, certain times I've been asked to do certain things, and I've certainly jumped into an indie project here and there. Okay. So I get an offer yesterday, paid offer, $2,000. Okay, MTV show, reality show. This should tell you how non-reality reality show is. And I was essentially asked to play, and it wasn't made clear to me because I pretty much turned it down out of the gates after I realized that it was a reality TV thing. Guys, just so you know, reality TV is about as unreal and scripted as it gets, always has been. Always, very few and far between there's any honesty there either. Okay? And really, when you saw this kind of like also hooked into the Abilify thing, because the Abilify thing where they're pushing you to take a psychotropic drug on top of your other psychotropic drugs, and it has a digital signal that makes sure that you're compliant and you take it, gets pushed by influencer Kendra Wilkinson, former Playboy model. She's a celebrity. You know, it's the celebritard culture. Let's put it in every magazine and get young women and girls to get out. Oh, maybe I can. Oh, maybe Abilify will help me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So anyway, I was to play this person's either boyfriend or the guy she cheats on her boyfriend with. Okay? So let me recap that for you. I had an opportunity yesterday, and you know, obviously all expenses paid to where this shoot was going to be. That I was either going to be the rotten bastard she was cheating with, or the heartbroken, dedicated boyfriend. And I said, you know what? First of all, I told the person I was flattered that they would even consider me as somebody that could be in the role of their boyfriend or the person they cheated with. But I said, you know what? It's just not my shebango. I couldn't see myself doing it. It's the same when I get asked to do, hey, we got this affiliate link for you, Jason. This is why I tell every single person that wants to give me an affiliate link or wants me to advertise their stuff, etc. Okay? If I'm already using the product and you want to give it to me and I'm actually using it, I have no problem advertising it. If I am being paid by a network, which I currently am, all right, and I am on that show, you want me to have a guest on, such as Patriot Mobile, which I've had. Again, patriot.tv, go check out their Rumble channel, 5 days a week, 6 p.m. Eastern, Jason Bermas is live. A lot of great guests, by the way, this week. Just want to point that out there. So if I'm working those jobs, I have no problem running the commercials or having those people on or reading the ads. All right. Now, here's where it gets tricky. So they'll always try to give me, even there, for instance, like with a gold affiliate, they'll give me a gold affiliate link and they'll tell me how well I can do with it. And I just tell them every single time, guys, I'll sign up for your affiliation. It's not a problem. I'm never going to use it. Never. And they look at me crazy funny. They're like, what? I go, I can't sell things I don't use. So I'm never going. So great, sign me up. I'm never going to use it. And they look at me like, well, Jay, that's kind of different. I go, listen, guys, if you want me to sell something, I'm good at selling myself. And that's not selling myself out. That's selling myself forward. Okay? I have no problem telling you guys that without you, this doesn't happen. This basement doesn't happen. My nieces aren't upstairs in their nice little bedrooms. They're not on the volleyball team. All right? We don't have dinner every night. Without you guys, I don't exist. Okay? And I think most of you get that. So, for instance, this company that I'm currently working for, CBMJ, so far, great company, but they're publicly traded. They're a publicly traded company. Okay, that's great. I have no problem trying to sell you the stock to that publicly traded company because I want to stay on the network and I don't want to be pressured to say things or have guests on that I don't want on. And I've already, had to say several times, Dershowitz included, how I felt about certain issues and certain people. Okay? Because I don't book those guests on that other show. The Red Voice Media thing was all me. I was booking everything. I was having whoever on. Okay? And essentially, I'm going back to that, right? Like, if you have been seeing my sparse posts, and they're over at band.video as well, that's another great place to see my stuff. Ryan Christian, great guest. Clay Clark, love Clay. I'll be speaking in Detroit over the summer at the very last Reawaken America tour. That guy, you don't have to agree with him all the time. Personally, I'm not a religious man, right? I totally and completely respect the guy. I think the guy deserves my respect. And he's a guy that is losing money because of what he believes in. I get down with things like that, okay? But imagine a world where we are a hive mind and we are all connected. Where's the individuality? I mean, you're talking about a brave new world on steroids. Forget about Soma, electronic Soma. We're already at the Soma point. When they're selling your kids on a bunch of psychotropic drugs on top of a bunch of other horrible things. Awful. Awful. Just every single kind of terrible you can absolutely imagine. You know what? I got to get I'm gonna be right back, guys. I got to run over and get my actual phone. I'm filming this on something else. While I'm waiting, let's thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. Remember, we got 70,000 plus subscribers. We barely have 120 people watching. Okay? Okay. How about 8? Boom. So there you go. So let's talk X, Musk, freedom of speech. Everything's a tool, right? This is on YouTube right now. And later on, I'll probably rip this from YouTube and I'll pop it on over to Rumble. I'll pop it over to Rockfin. Look, love the folks over at Rockfin. But that's not a viable thing anymore. Listen, if you're supporting me on Rockfin, thank you. Thank you so much. They increased the price to $14.99 a month. I thought that was an extremely terrible move. And then the way they have it set up is you incrementally make less for your subscriptions. So it starts out where you actually got like a very close to YouTube style chunk on the people that would sign up with you, but not anymore. Now it's like almost a joke. Like if you're signed up, out of that $15 a month, maybe I see about 2 of it now, and that's a big problem for me. Like, that doesn't work for me. that I'm literally down to, and then the rest of the money that's derived is how many videos I put up. So basically, everybody wonders why I went full premium over there. It's because I had to go full premium to even pull 50% of what the subscriptions I have are. So everything has to be premium. I have to put out a ton of videos there. I haven't been doing that. I need to do that. I'm not trying to make this too much about shop, guys, but I do want people to understand how difficult it is to get out a true independent voice, right? When I say I'm going to use Twitter the same way I'm using YouTube, it's like that Mario Nawful account. I guess it's some Bitcoin guy. He doesn't even really run the Twitter page other than it's his name, but he's got like a media outlet on there where it's several people running these spaces and shows, right? So I got the opportunity to go on those spaces for the Epstein thing. And once again, I'm always going to take those opportunities. Now, I didn't try to hog the time. Like, you got to spend hours in there sometimes. I don't got hours and hours and hours. I just don't, right? Like, one of the great things about the morning show and being paid for that morning show is that it was financially worth it to me to get up early and do a 2-hour broadcast every day. If I were to do that independently on my own, I would be surprised, extremely surprised, if I were able to make half of what I was making actually doing it. So that's a big problem, right? And it's a big problem that guys like me and my posts are artificially suppressed to this day on Twitter. That's just a fact, Jack. That's just reality. It hasn't changed just because Alex Jones retweeted me. I'll be honest, Alex Jones's account has done really well. And when I do get a retweet or, some kind of bump from the Jones account, it does well. Same with any huge account, except for people that are now criticizing the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Another huge problem. Because I'm not down with the right-wing talking points of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I think that right now we're in a bad spot there in a lot of ways. I think that when you turn off the power and carpet bomb 2 million people and cut off their food, that's genocide. I don't like seeing dead kids. Today I've said this before, but I cannot tell you how much it affects me that I sit there and I scroll through my feed, and there are times I can't get 30 seconds deep without seeing 5 fucking dead kids. I don't like it. And, I don't have the auto videos playing. It's usually like a screenshot, but I see the dirt over their little faces. I don't like it. It really, really bothers me. Okay, really, really bothers me. And so the Muscarino, he goes over to Israel. He says that he's Jewish, right? Now you may remember Georgia. What's his name? Is it Santos, the Long Island congressman who, like I said, I did a whole video of why he fit Long Island as a congressman so well. They're like the fakest of the fake people. All right? Like the fakest of the fake. So a guy like George Santos says that. And then when Musk says it, again, if the press wanted to come after him, they would have highlighted the same thing they did on George Santos. Nope. And so, John Cusack and I politically don't agree on a whole bunch of things. We don't. But when an account with 1.8 million followers like Cusack picks up my tweet and retweets it, I can't get 30 retweets on it. 30. Not 300, not 3,000, not 30K, which would be an average for something like that. 1.8 million followers. I can't get 30. And it's not even a commentary on the Palestinian or Israeli conflict. Instead, it's a commentary on whether or not this is a free speech platform. And that commentary is proven correct through the roof when you look at those numbers. It's that simple. It's that simple. Oh, I know I'm ranting here, guys, but it's the truth of the matter. And look, let's talk a little Trump, Biden, the whole nine. Biden's off the rails, bro. He's off the rails. Like this last year now, they don't want him anywhere because he can't speak. He doesn't know he's the president. He can't talk. He was having trouble talking 4 years ago when they rolled out. Now he really can't talk. Now they're like, whoa, what do we do? And even John Kerry has just recently been replaced. And what do I mean by that? Well, not replaced in a good way, by the way. Probably in a much scarier way than even I could imagine. But as I've pointed out, John Kerry runs much more of this country's foreign policy than Joe Biden could ever do. And that doesn't mean John Kerry is the boss. That means he's the middleman minion, very much for this globalist climate change regimentation of every human being agenda. But he's recently replaced by somebody who a lot of people had forgotten about or thought that they went off somewhere and they weren't involved in politics anymore. You must be high. Okay? What's that say? Great jobs on InfoWars yesterday. You put together a look back into commercials. I remember being insane, and it's crazy. It's been 15 years since that craze. Yeah, you're damn right. I played that Abilify commercial from 15 years ago. Again, when they were targeting women, and now they target women and weak men. All right. So who did they replace John Kerry with? John effing Podesta. John effing Podesta is who they just replaced Kerry with. Now, if you've been paying attention to some Jason Bermas, I want to point out, Earth 2100. Now, Earth 2100 is from 2008, and it's giving you this nightmare scenario of climate change and everything climate change is going to do to everybody. All right? And some of the players that you're going to see in this thing, and it's actual footage, a comic book, and then interviews with people like John Podesta, people like Anthony Fauci, people like Eric Schmidt, formerly of Google, people like James Woolsey. All right? And what do they show you in the first 20 seconds of the broadcast? I lived through New York City under full quarantine. And then you see people in the hazmat suits. And then they show you a shot of California. Everybody's in the blue masks. 2008. 2008. And somehow the guys in that are still very much behind this climate change agenda are still in charge of nightmares coming to fruition in this country and around the world a decade plus later. A decade plus later. Look, I want justice and I want retribution. I don't know that I've seen it in my lifetime. Not on a macro scale. That's a problem. I don't like it. Okay? I constantly hear about this court case and that court case. Hell, I had Patrick Byrne on the program. I think it was last week I had Patrick Byrne on. And Patrick Byrne is, touting all these cases about election integrity and voter fraud. Anybody with any kind of common sense knows 2020 was the most mega type of election and voter fraud that we had ever seen. And instead of getting accountability and an audit and arrests, we got Joe fucking Biden. What else do you need to know? And then the other side that got cheated doesn't make them great people. Just tried to do their jobs and be like, hey, we got cheated. And they came after a bunch of them criminally and successfully got guilty pleas out of a bunch of them because they had to plead down what they had been accused of because they didn't have the resources to defend themselves against a federal government that has unlimited resources. You know, that was one of the big guests this week. That was a really important guest that I haven't talked about too much because I didn't even know the story. This was my broadcast 2 days ago. And again, guys, I'm live. And you can catch the replay over at Patriot.tv's Rumble. I got to start posting these replays. You had a guy who was an ex-NYPD officer, retired because of an injury, John McMahon. He takes a case as a private investigator. He's a licensed private investigator. The guy has medals up and down in New York City. Now, let me just tell you something about New York City. New York City is a different planet than most places. It's a different planet, all right? The kind of work you do as a police officer in New York City is literally PTSD type of stuff. Like it's like war trauma if you're a beat cop. Like if you're in an urban area or a city area somewhere in the country, average spot, like maybe a Boise, Idaho, something like that. Maybe once every year or two, something's really going to get under your skin. There's going to be something really gross or bad. And if you're in a small town, there's going to be a couple of those moments in your career that are going to haunt you forever. If you're in New York City, that's the baseline. That you can expect that on a maybe weekly basis, if not multiple times a week. All right? So this guy gets through all of that with literal bells and whistles. Now, when he's a private investigator in 2016, he takes a client, meets him at a Panera Bread, does work for him for, I believe it's 5 days on a fraud case where somebody in their company was embezzling tens of millions of dollars. And so this guy did his work. He went to New Jersey. He surveilled the guy. He worked with law enforcement while he surveilled the guy. Did everything by the books. Totally forgot about it. Didn't give it a second thought. It's 2016. 2020, he gets a pounding at the door at 6 a.m. And it's the feds. And they want him. He's got no idea why they want him. Well, don't you know, when they take him down, he starts to figure it out in this interrogation that he doesn't know is an interrogation. This guy's now a Chinese spy. He's a Chinese agent. So he's not a spy. He's an agent of China. And they start hitting him with that FARA bullshit. Now, he gets irate, obviously, because he's like, what are you I tried. He's like, I've given you everything. I'm obviously not an agent of China. I wasn't working with or for the CCP. The whole nine. Did that matter? No. No, it didn't. In fact, he was able to be acquitted of one charge, which was knowingly failing to register for FARA, because why would he have registered for FARA? But then he still got convicted of stalking and a violation of FARA. They want to put this guy away for 5 years. Why? Because they want the optics to say they're getting tough on China. And meanwhile, the actual people that supposedly embezzled the money and worked for China, and by the way, were Chinese, they don't arrest them. Those people don't go to jail. In fact, they get escorted on planes to get out of the country by the FBI. That's what happens. And you know, this poor woman, this woman actually happens to be an Emmy Award-winning daytime soap actress, right? I think As the World Turns, and what's the other one? Forget what the other one is. But again, think about that for a moment. Think about that for a moment. This guy gave him everything. He luckily because both of them saved their money and did things right. They owned their home, so they didn't have a mortgage payment. But they basically bankrupted them. And she's like, you better have $1 million in the bank if you want to fight these people. I go, $1 million? They'll just take that too? You're going to need even more. You know, when I talk to Naomi Wolf, again, these are all on patriot.tv, Making Sense of the Madness, 6 p.m. Eastern time, guys, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Naomi Wolf said she could probably never work as a consultant for a presidential campaign again after what they did to the Trump campaign during 2020 after the fact. And she's right. She's like, everything they did, we did and more with the Clintons back in the 2000 election. You get it? You're starting to understand how this works? That's incredible, you know? And Naomi Wolf is just like, you know, I'm not, you know, this is an author. This is somebody who's been very involved in the upper echelon of American politics. I don't have that kind of money. And she's written how many books, how many bestsellers? You know, people have this kind of diluted idea of the abilities of even some of the top tier quote unquote players in this arena. All right, guys, I'm wrapping it up. I think we're going to wrap it right up. Here's the deal. If you want to support me, the links are down below. $5, $10, $15. It does mean the world to me. I do appreciate everybody who still is supporting me via Rockfin. You're checking me out on Rumble. We're going to be back on Podbean soon. But I can't reiterate it enough. I am live. It's not live. It's live to tape. But you'll get to check out my show, my interview show, every single day at 6 p.m. Eastern. Right now, it's still at ampnews.us. But it's moving to patriot.tv. But you can go to the patriot.tv Rumble. That's where I suggest you go. And you can find all of my shows. All of my shows. There's about, geez, I got to be 4 or 5 months behind on posting. And we're talking about literally 80 to 100 interviews you guys have not seen if you're not watching that show. Maybe more than that. So I would encourage you to check out that show for free. And again, I couldn't do it without you. I really do love all you guys that have supported me, bought me the coffee, done it up. But overall, the way you really help me and the rest of humanity, the way we really do become team humanity is we share the information and we become an opposition. And we're also intellectually honest with one another, and we're not constantly jumping on bandwagons. It's not about left or right. It's always about right and wrong. I absolutely love you guys, and I will see you on the flip side.